10 September 2025, terrible day in human history. Charlie Kirk got brutally assassinated on a conference event that he was holding, as he usually does. He has done it for so many years by now. So many conferences, so many events, so many younger people that he was forming together, aligning together. And the thing was, he was never actually in somewhat of an offensive way towards the people that were debating him. It was literally a specific way to actually debate on an actual normal human way instead of being a keyboard warrior behind the internet. Charlie had a very special opinion about a lot of things, but aside from holding the mic on his own, he also gave the opportunity to drop another mic for the people to actually share their own opinion as well, to actually start a very healthy debate. And to know that he literally got brutally assassinated on the 10th of September 2025 in Utah is absolutely devastating. And this is actually the first long-term content video that I'm making about this topic. I've dropped 2 short-form TikTok videos already about the issue that on the day that this happened and that the news actually broke out. But I felt like going in a little bit deeper to actually discuss it in a more human way, more in-depth, more details, more visions, and more personal feedback on this matter, because Charlie was only 31 years old. He still had his entire life fully ahead of him. He has 2 amazing little young children that he's sadly enough leaving behind right now, alongside with his wife. And if I'm not mistaken, they only recently got married in, if I'm not mistaken, 2021. So that's only just 4 years. And I don't know how old or how young the kids are, but they're amazingly young at the point when this actually happened. I'm guessing like maybe 3 to 4 years old maybe. But the thing that hurts me the most is how Charlie, his life got taken away. Plus also the fact that it happened right before the eyes of all these young students that were present, that were live following the conference or the debate event in person, that were actually there. And the moment when Charlie got shot and I saw the uncensored videos, it was terrifying to watch. It was, no. For those who do not know, he got shot right into his neck, and not straight through it, but literally like at the side of it. And definitely something critical actually got hit, because as soon as the contact was made with the bullet and the shot, I mean, the blood flow out so amazingly hard. It was it was already painful for me to watch. As soon as I saw the blood spouting out, I immediately clicked away the video because I didn't feel like watching it even further. But imagine all the people that were there live, seeing it happen right in front of their own eyes. That's a trauma for life. That's honestly a trauma for life. Definitely if you were front row. And what's even more worse is that his own children and his own wife were in the front seats as well, apparently, and it happened right before their eyes as well. And imagine, just think about the most loved person in your own life. Imagine that he or she gets shot right in front of your eyes in such a fatal way that you know that there's nothing you can do. That you see the blood pouring out so amazingly quickly, so intensely, that you just start crying because you know that there might be not a single chance that he or she will still live or will survive this attack. Aside from that, Charlie was a very inspirational person. He had millions of followers, millions of views, even though he was somewhat controversial. And don't get me wrong, he'll probably did some statements in the past where I personally wouldn't agree with as well, or that I personally might say, nah, he's overreacting somewhat with this, I don't know. But what I do know is that the majority of the content that I've seen of Charlie definitely was accurate. Charlie was a normal human being with a normal state of mind, who was just focusing on the normal reality that we know it, and not the reality that's being shoved in our faces throughout the mainstream media, throughout 50 different genders, throughout making the abnormal things become normal. All these silly but normal things where it's always a topic, or usually it were topics where there's always a lot of controversialness, a lot of diversity and whatsoever. But that's exactly what they want to see. They want to see as much diversion as possible. So the more people get diverse in multiple boxes, the more point of views and opinions there are, the more opinions that will actually collide together to end up in discussions or whatsoever, and so on and so on. But as he mentioned in one of his videos that actually popped up my feed quite a while ago, he was, as he mentioned it, pro-reality. And that's an interesting statement, because now, as I just mentioned, a lot of abnormal things get normalized, which isn't normal reality anymore, which isn't even real reality. So being pro-reality, I'm actually thinking that I could talk about this non-stop, because, for example, yesterday when I found out about this matter, which was like a half an hour before midnight, I just got back from the gym, just got out of the shower, and I got into the news that he got shot and that he sadly enough passed away as well. And I was I was hit with disbelief, with thinking like, nah, this cannot be real. Not Charlie, not him. But most of all with anger, with frustration, because he was honestly just a normal human being of flesh and blood, like everyone else is, like you, me. We're all just humans. We're all the same being. We all have a family, we all have loved ones, and of course, we all have different kind of opinions, different kinds of POVs, different kind of statements, but nobody deserves to be assassinated in front of hundreds of people, not being able to survive it, and to leave your 2 little children behind, aside with your lovely wife. But nah. And I've never met Charlie, because as me personally, I'm from Europe, so I've never actually met him in the United States of America. But I always enjoyed his content, because he wasn't afraid to speak up. He wasn't afraid to shut his mouth. He wasn't afraid to actually have a normal, healthy debate with other people, and that's what made him that interesting. He was a person who dared to actually stand up, and was amazingly good at bringing arguments towards some people, their fictional beliefs, which are like too ridiculous for words. And as mentioned before, he gave the mic to the public as well. He was not out there just, I'm holding the mic and I'm preaching everything that I want and y'all can come at me. No, he gave a mic to the audience for a normal, actual debate. But what pains me even more is the fact that we have such sick people in the world that find it funny, or even worse, that they are happy because of the fact that Charlie got assassinated and that he lost his life in the progress. I've seen people laughing in pure joy, in entertainment, in happiness due to the fact that Charlie died. Are you even Really? Really? Are you really that sick in your head? I can perfectly understand it if you're not completely on one level when it comes to certain statements or certain arguments that he mentioned. As mentioned before, everyone has their own free will, everyone has their own state of mind, but to actually do dances of joy and be amazingly happy because someone lost his life in a very tragic way, to actually leave his wife and 2 little children behind. Nah. We're all just humans. And even though the one has a bigger and more stronger opinion than the other, you have no right to actually make fun of something as brutal as this. You don't. You don't have the audacity to just... And even if you do, even if you really think, fuck it, I can do it, who do you think I am? I can laugh whenever I want to. Sure. I'm not gonna debate with you sick freaks, but do know karma comes around eventually. And if you're one of those amazingly sick freaks that maybe has somewhat of a belief like, I don't care about this world, I don't have any loved ones because nobody loves me. If you're really that sick psychopath about that sadly enough doesn't know love, believe me, as soon as you're dead, you'll follow the consequences, because there's only one Lord and one God up above. And that's actually what Charlie standed for as well for me. But I gotta admit, even in these times, and even though Charlie was so amazingly strong when it comes to his belief with God and his faith, I personally wonder myself, why God? Why? Why Charlie? Why didn't he survive? And I'm quite sure that a lot of people are asking the exact same question. And I'm quite sure that there's a lot of controversy and a lot of debating right now, like, oh my God, if your God is so real, why did he let this happen? And this is exactly the same reason why I stepped away from God 15 years ago, when I was still a little teenager. I've always been raised Christian since I was a little kid, since my parents are into Christianity as well. Especially my mother, she has a very strong belief, but sadly enough, she also has a very bad health, which isn't curable, sadly enough, on a lot of things. And we've seen a lot of misery. I've seen a lot of pain. I've seen my mother in a lot of pain. I've seen my mother in lots of bad ways. She sadly enough experienced a lot of negative moments with lots of pain. And even though she had such a strong beliefs and such a strong faith towards God, I often ask myself the question, okay, if this God is so real and so powerful, why does my mother have to endure all this pain? So eventually, when I was 15, I completely turned away from God because I was just done with it. I was so amazingly done. But eventually, funny enough, I found my way back to God, and I'm not going to go into fully detail about this matter, but what I do know is that God is definitely real, and I've experienced it in a lot of things lately in the past years, that I'm fully convinced that there definitely is a God. And if you don't believe it, that's fine. I'm not here to convince you. And if you're maybe like, yeah, but I haven't seen God yet, then you need to work a bit more on your relationship towards him. Try to search him even more. Try to find him even more. Try to find a better connection with him. And eventually, you'll need to be patient, but he shows up. He definitely does. And to come back on the matter, also today, I came back in the same state of mind, like, okay, God, if you're actually that powerful, why did you let Charlie die? Because he was one of the preachers out there, like, to put it like that. He was a person with an amazing reach towards the people. He was a person that spread the gospel. He talked about God, he talked about Christianity, he talked about living a good life. Then he gets so brutally murdered in front of so many people and in front of his wife and children, and not being able to survive. I was very mad. I'm somewhat mad at God, like, God, why? Why did you let this happen? And I somewhere still have that same question, just because this doesn't feel right. But what hurts me the most is that this happened. And now you can mention, yeah, but people die every single day in wars of Palestine, in wars of Gaza, in wars of Israel. That's true. And don't get me wrong, that's very bad as well. But sadly enough, we don't get to see enough of this matter, and we all know that this is going on for many years by now. And sadly enough, the governments that are behind these wars, sadly enough, don't have the adultery to just end the war. Because as soon as the other one, to do war, you're with two different sides. And if one pops out, the other one has a choice to keep on going or to pop out as well. But if both sides just think about peace, then there wouldn't be war. But you know what? Guns, weapons, it's all about the money. Weapons make money. Wars make money. Money is the thing that makes the world keeps on spinning, as how they mention it. I don't know, there's a specific saying about it. Money makes the world go round or something like that, I don't know. But I'm still filled with disbelief. But what I do want to mention, and that's what I actually want to close off this video with, and that's probably the most important message about this entire video. Even though Charlie has been taken away from us, Charlie was an amazing example of a person that wasn't afraid to back down, that wasn't afraid to shut up, that wasn't afraid to be somewhat controversial and to actually stand up for his own opinions in a respectful way. Respectfully. No violence, no aggressiveness, just plain, normal, healthy debating on both sides. Plus, he was all about unity. He walked with God. He was about spreading the word about God. He was all about living a good and correct life. And even though Charlie isn't here right now, in my opinion, we should see him as a form of inspiration. He was an amazing person with amazing standards, amazingly smart, and even though he's gone right now, his will should live on forever. If you're out there and you're even somewhat of a content creator and you're even somewhat of someone who wants to get his or her opinion out, let's start the movement. Make a difference. You can do it, and don't care about others, their opinions, because Charlie once started just as any other small creator out there, and look how far he made it. And that's just purely because he didn't give up. He kept on going, and most likely his connection with God, I'm quite sure that made a huge difference as well. And I'm not even sure how many views I will get on this video, because I'm not the biggest YouTube content creator yet. However, I have been into content creation for a very long time, but I'm only starting fairly recently with this new YouTube channel. And for those who actually watched this video completely up until the ending, can I please ask you guys to leave a like on this video, because the more interaction that I get with this video, and that means likes, comments, shares, whatsoever, the more this video actually gets boosted. And I'm not gonna beg for amazingly huge interactions on this video. It's all up to the algorithm of YouTube to actually hopefully bless me with some views maybe, or somewhat of an reach towards you guys. But I honestly do want to know, every single one of you who's watching this video, please leave your thoughts into the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on this entire matter, on this entire tragedy. I've seen a lot of people that actually commented like, I wasn't pro Charlie in certain things that he mentioned, but nobody deserves to be killed like that. And that's amazing to see as well. That's humanity. That's normal humanity. And it also makes me happy to see how many people get united due of Charlie. Because even though Charlie has left us right now, so many people are coming together, so many people are supporting each other, so many people are throwing out their feelings and their empathy. It's amazing. It's insane. And this shouldn't have happened. This definitely shouldn't have happened. But even though it did happen, I feel like even this incident will have a huge impact on the entire world. Whether you're a youngster or maybe someone already older. But look at me. I am a content creator, because on TikTok we have passed 75,000 followers, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much for whoever comes from TikTok. But whether you are a content creator or not, don't be afraid to speak up. Let's all unite together as normal human beings to let the will of Charlie Kirk live on forever. My name is David Exclusive, straight from Europe. My condolences and my prayers go out to every single family member of Charlie, his wife, his kids, his parents, and of course to every single student who was live when the tragedy happened on that specific day, on that specific location. Everyone who was front row, second row, third row, everyone who saw it up close, I honestly hope and pray to God that you will heal from this trauma that you've experienced with your own eyes. Rest in peace, Charlie. You've gone way too soon, on a way too brutal way, but you made a huge impact on this world. And I'm sure that even your death has inspired many people and has triggered a maybe even better or bigger revolution that you maybe had in mind.